What is going on, beautiful people? Rick's in a bad mood because the Bears are playing, right?
Unfortunately so. Unfortunately so. Oh, and to even worsen the mood, just real quick before we start the episode, and I'm sorry to start on such a bad note, but Dick Butkus, unfortunately, has passed away. TMZ was reported that just maybe 10, 15 minutes ago that Dick Butkus, Bears great, Bears legend, has unfortunately passed away. And that's why I'm wearing the black, because yes, the Bears are playing, but man, Dick Butkus, huge loss for the Bears organization. And, one of the guys that was very old school NFL, old school guy, and criticized the Bears with no problem. So unfortunately, he has passed away, and I'm sure Bears fans all over the country are saddened by this news.
Yeah, dude. To be honest, this is the first I heard about it.
Yeah.
Did this just get released?
Yeah, it was just on Twitter just a couple minutes ago, maybe
Yeah.
10-ish minutes ago or so. But yeah, it's very, very sad. And, I'm sorry to kind of start off the show that way, but I just I feel like we had to say that right off the bat.
Yeah, definitely. And rest in peace. He left a legacy. He impacted many
Definitely.
lives. We could only hope to leave the kind of impact he had on as many people as he did. So
For sure.
the Bears may be playing for a little something extra tonight.
They might. Yeah, for sure.
And we'll get to that game a little bit later, but we are going to be doing our our weekly predictions for all of week 5. Normally we
Yep.
would start with the Thursday night game. We're actually going to end with that game. And yeah, we can kick that off right away. Really excited about this week. There's some teams that are trending in a good direction. The Jets, Commanders, 2 teams that lost but are actually looking to build off. Maybe even the Bears you could put in that category. I think we're starting to learn a little bit more who some of these teams are. So really excited for another week of football.
Yeah, man. And let's get into it. Like you said, week 5 predictions. Let's do it. Let's go, Kyle. Let's do it. Let's go into the week 5 predictions. You said we were gonna do Thursday night football last, so let's start off with the very first game on the Sunday slate, which is the Jags at Bills in London. The Jags get to stay in London. Very little travel they have to do for the second week in a row. They stay in London. Their 11th total game in London after a win against the Falcons just last week. Oh God, who was it? It was Trevor Lawrence had 200 plus yards, a touchdown. The defense had a good pick 6 against a struggling team in the Falcons. But the Bills just came from a very dominating win against the Dolphins. He has looked great. Stephon Diggs is no longer a question mark in regards to his relationship with Josh, and the defense is doing well. Oh yeah, Von Miller's going to be back. So this Jags and Bills game is going to be looking good in London.
Yeah, dude. I might put on my Von Miller jersey. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, the Jags got to be looking at this game thinking, hey, if we can get a win, now we're got the same record as the Bills, so the Bills are the team to beat. They would both be 3-2 with the Jaguars' victory, and I do think staying in London extra week is going to help a lot. I think it hurts Buffalo. We've seen Jacksonville play Buffalo really well. Even Trevor Lawrence's rookie season, I think they went 1-15 with Urban Meyer. That one win was against Buffalo, and I believe it was in London because the joke was Jacksonville still hasn't won a game in the United States since 2014 or whatever. So we know that Jacksonville matches up well with Buffalo in the past. Buffalo's on a hot streak right now. They're looking really good, and this is kind of, to me, a really tough game. I believe Buffalo is going to be favorited to win this game.
Oh yeah,
and I wonder what it is. I can see right here, Jacksonville is actually a 5.5-point underdog.
Mm-hmm.
I would think that Jacksonville would cover, but I'm going to go with Buffalo here.
Yeah, I'm going Bills too, man. Stephon Diggs had what, 3 touchdowns last week or something like that. He had a ridiculous amount of receptions and yards. And like I said, the relationship between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs is no longer in question. I'm taking Bills as well. So Kyle and I both have the Bills. Real quick, let me hit the comments here. Liam, we got Liam in the chat.
Liam!
And we also have JST a killer. What's up, boys? Cheers to you. All right, let's move on to Kyle, that's an empty can by Kyle. Don't believe a word,
No,
a word from him. All right, let's move on to the next game. We've got the Texans at the Falcons. CJ Stroud is looking like a 5-year vet right now, and it's his first 4 games of the year. He's got over 1,200 passing yards. I think the amount of yards he has is only second to Cam Newton in a rookie's first 4 games, and no interceptions with 6 touchdowns through 4 weeks. DeMeco Ryans has been doing a really good job with him and the defense. They've done exactly what they've needed to do against teams that are well below, NFL standards, really. They played and they're going to be playing the Falcons, but Bijan Robinson is a freak. He's rushed for over 100 yards twice already in the first 4 weeks, has 19 receptions as a receiving touchdown. But that's about all this Falcons team has going for it, dude, because Pitts and London need to get more involved, and they just have not. And you've said it yourself, like, this is just kind of a travesty that this offense has not gotten Kyle Pitts or Drake London involved in the offense more.
Yeah, and I believe I just turned down the gain a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was just in my ears, but the antics on the table sounded pretty loud.
Gotcha.
Do you still got me all right?
Oh, I got you good.
All right, awesome. So I picked Atlanta going into the season to be a dark horse playoff team, and I really do believe in Arthur Smith. What Houston has been able to do is the closest thing I can compare it to is, and it's not very comparable because it's different, but Deion Sanders in Colorado, a very captivating personality, and DeMeco Ryans. And one of the things that when you go to a losing franchise like the Texans, it takes a long time to turn the attitudes around. It takes a long time for players to do something on the field that they believe in enough to buy into the system. But we're seeing like a total buy-in immediately out of the gate. CJ Stroud's looking really good. I think this game is going to come down to the Texans' ability to stop the run. Houston right now ranked 19th, giving up 116 rushing yards per game. That's not great. At Houston needs to kind of step up because like if Atlanta can't run the ball well, this reminds me of the Giants early last season, where if you took Saquon Barkley away, it was like make Daniel Jones beat him with his arm. He couldn't do it. I think this has got to be the same approach here. If you're Houston, let's stop the run and force them to use their weapons. I just don't feel that confident in their ability to stop the run. Atlanta's either. Atlanta's given up 114.5. Houston's given up 116.5. These are very similar teams as far as run defense. So I'm going to pick the team that I think will have the most success running the football. I know the Texans are trending up, but this is a road game. They've won 2 in a row. They're due to a loss to come back down to earth a little bit. And I think on Atlanta's side, they're due for a win coming off 2 back-to-back losses, I believe. So Atlanta got off to a good start. Hasn't been so great lately. Maybe the home game is what they need. I'll say playing in London last week, I totally forgot about that. I'm going to take Texans because the teams that come back from London need to have a bye week right away. We saw the Jets beat the Packers in Green Bay, and this was not a great Jets team, but Green Bay came back from London and they didn't have a bye week. They went right into the game and their rest. You know better than
Yeah.
anybody what that transition's like, and to not have a bye week is kind of brutal. Meanwhile, the Texans are going on a 3-hour flight to Atlanta, to get ready for this game. It's probably more, at least for body and rest, it's going to feel like a home game for the Texans, not so much for Atlanta. But I do expect the game to be really close. I'm just going to take Houston here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Texans as well. But you make a good point with like, you wanted to stick with the team that was going to run the ball better, and obviously that's Bijan Robinson and the Falcons. But I don't know, C.J. Stroud and what he's been able to do these first 4 weeks has been phenomenal. Let's move on. So we both have the Texans, but let's move on to next game. We have the Panthers, the winless Panthers at the Lions. Lions. I'm sorry, the Panthers had Bryce Young back last week after Dalton's great game as a starter. Okay game against the winless Vikings, not good enough for a win, but Panthers remain winless. Look like and they're, for me, in my opinion, and this is just me trying to make this happen, putting it out into the universe, looking like a top 3 pick for the draft. So I'm very, very happy with that. The Lions are looking like a team that is going to go on a tear right now, and that started with the Packers last week. They're gonna destroy the Panthers this week. Montgomery went on a tear too last week against the Packers. St. Brown had a few good passes and catches and a touchdown. Their defense is gonna kill the Lions or the Panthers. They're going for a 3rd win in a row. I'm taking the Lions in this one.
Yeah, the Lions, I remember last year when they went on that 8-game win streak.
Yeah.
They went into Carolina and nobody gave Carolina a chance, and they beat the Lions in that game. This game is in Detroit, so I'm going to go with Detroit, but I think Detroit should smack Carolina in the mouth, but I have just an odd feeling this game's going to be annoyingly close. But maybe even Detroit playing from behind and come back and win it in the fourth quarter type of game. But I'll take the Lions.
So you're seeing them get a little bit of a test, I guess, if you will. The Lions are.
Yeah, especially just the whole the lines are riding high. I do expect Dan Campbell to keep them pretty level-headed, but this is definitely a trap game for Detroit.
Okay. All right. We'll see how that one goes. Part of the early slate. Next game, we got Titans at the Colts. Anthony Richardson led a pretty surprising comeback in the 3rd and 4th quarter last week against the Rams. Obviously came up short in overtime. Threw for 2 touchdowns, even ran one in, showing all the people who doubted him in the draft that he can play in the NFL. The Titans dominated the Bengals last week. And if you guys remember, during our week 4 prediction, I said unless the Titans have a really good game from Henry, I don't think they're going to win. And what happened? Derrick Henry rushed for 122 yards and a touchdown. Tannehill had 240 yards and a touchdown. Neither of these teams really have impressed so far, but Henry's going to have a tough time with this Colts run defense. So I'm going to go with the Colts at home, and they're going to take the dub against Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. Anthony Richardson's going to have a really good game, I think.
Yeah. So you think that Derrick Henry's going to struggle to run the ball against the Colts?
Yeah, they have a top run defense, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that on my end, but I'm not going to if the Colts, because right now, this is actually a great time to bring it up, because depending on what source you look at, you may see teams totally differently. Like, for instance, the Jets right now are ranked 2nd in yards on kickoff return, but they've only returned 2 kickoffs. So
who's this?
Right, the Jets. So this is an example analytics, because we're early in the season. The data that is being pulled is far and few, and it's it's interesting to see how these different lists, like my uncle earlier said, Russell Wilson was the 27th ranked quarterback in the league, and I see he's a top 5 on most of my lists.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like way down there. And then here it's I see the Colts giving up 126 rushing yards per game. But that's still not bottom of the league. Denver's actually ranked last. We'll take that.
I think they're top 12.
They're at 23rd right on teamrankings.com. But who knows if it's phony? I'll talk about the game. If it's phony, just let me know at the end. But
yeah,
I do think Derrick Henry is going to be the X factor for Tennessee's offense moving forward. Like, he's had 2 games, I think, of his 4 with over 120 rushing yards. Last week he was throwing for touchdowns. This is kind of tough. Tennessee's coming off a pretty big win. They were at home, and now the Colts are at home, and this is my don't touch it.
Oh, okay.
But Tennessee, they have the 4th ranked rushing defense. They're giving up 70 rushing yards per game. That's not too bad. That's right there with like San Francisco, Philly, and number 1 is Detroit. So I'm gonna lean with Mike Vrabel. The Colts getting Jonathan Taylor back. And that's kind of a big story right now. But is Jonathan Taylor gonna? Yeah, we could do a whole segment just on Jonathan Taylor, but I don't know how much of an impact he's gonna have immediately. But I'm leaning Titans on this one.
Oh, all right. Kyle is leaning Titans, and now I'm seeing that the Colts do rank 23rd. I don't know where I thought they were a top run defense. I wonder if I searched it and it was last year's. I think it might have been last year's.
It might have been last year's, yeah.
It may have been last year's, yeah. Real quick, Tyler Fink in the comments trolling me as always. Cheers. Sup, guys. Commanders taking that down today.
So mean
no idea why they would put this on prime time. I agree with that last sentence. I agree with it.
I love this game on prime time.
I hate that you love this game on prime time.
This is we need games like this on prime time. Absolutely. This is going to be such a good game.
Yeah.
I am so pumped for this game. I've had like 2 people call me and they're like, "You're streaming that game? That's going to be such a boring game." And I'm like, no, it's not. Do you remember last year when they played? It was an amazing game. Nobody in the NFL is more desperate for a W than the Bears right now.
That's true.
And the Commanders are coming off of a disappointing, very impressive game with Philly. We'll get there, but this is going to be a good game tonight. This is going to be a really good game.
All right. I guess if Kyle says so, then I believe him. Next game on this Sunday slate, we've got the Giants going to Miami and taking on the Dolphins. I'm not going to lie. There is very little good to say about the Giants right now. Their O-line is terrible. Danny Dimes can't get the ball off. He can't get anything going. Waller has been absolutely absent from this offense. We talked about it last week, or I believe during the game. He had his 2nd reception within the last 5 minutes of the game. That shouldn't happen to Darren Waller. They traded for him. That's not the reason he's there.
They only threw 2 passes the whole game.
Yeah. Let's be real. Yeah, honestly, right? Even after a loss against the Bills, the Dolphins this should be an easy win for the Dolphins. And I know saying that in an NFL, it shouldn't be said. But they scored 70 against the Broncos. They're probably going to score 35 plus against this Giants team. Giants defense, bottom 5 in a lot of categories. In rush defense, bottom 5 in quarterback pressures, bottom 10 in tackling. Like, these guys are just not good, man. Like, these guys are bad. So I'm easily taking the Dolphins at home with this. I think Mike McDaniel has done a really good job. He's probably going to be a candidate for Coach of the Year. I'm taking the Dolphins.
Whoa.
Yep.
Already. Coach of the Year prediction. You heard it here, folks. You
heard it here first, folks.
Dolphins. Dolphins.
It's too easy.
This is a team that's only played 1 home game. we're going into week 5. The Dolphins have played home once. That the NFL honestly like kind of screwed the Dolphins because that's when they have the home field advantages in September. It's in the beginning, and you see they're like, oh, let's not even play home games until October in South Florida. Well, the fans are going to be ready to go, man. This is only their second opportunity to see their team. Last time they saw them, they scored 70. Dolphins coming off a disappointing loss. Yep. All of these are some kind of concoction for something really terrible to happen to the Giants. And I don't even know if – I mean, we'll see. The Giants do not have a get well game. We'll put it that way.
I think the Giants are the get well game for a lot of teams.
Yeah, and this is also like if you're a Giants fan, this is just rough because you've officially kind of entered that stretch of your schedule where the only reason you were going to make it to the playoffs was because you were going to beat the winnable games and you already counted, the Bills and Dolphins as a loss, but then you fucked up and lost to those bad teams, and now you're just screwed. It was like they were like, yeah, Denver starts the season with the Raiders and Commanders, but you know what I mean? They'll be 2-0 no matter what by the time they play Miami, and then they went 0-2 and screwed themselves. That this is the same thing. Like they're going through a rough stretch. You can see they had who did the Giants just Seahawks. Then Dolphins, and then they got Bills next week. They're on the stretch of games right now where they've already lost too many games to teams they should have beat. 49ers too, but playing with Arizona the way they did, and they got that win, but it was an ugly one. And then getting destroyed by the Cowboys. I mean, the Giants, dude, they've had the hardest schedule up to this point. Think about that. They went from Dallas.
Yeah.
And then let's just skip Arizona. We'll put that over here. That's their one win anyway. But Dallas, San Francisco, Seahawks, Dolphins, Bills.
That's 6 weeks of just torture.
Playoffs. All of those teams are in the playoffs.
All of them. All of them.
So, yeah, I mean, the Giants did get manhandled, which says a lot, but I'm just going to go with the Dolphins. I have no expectation. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout. It's the NFL. The Giants are going to probably want to put together a good game after embarrassing themselves. Yeah. So I'm not going to predict a blowout here, but I'll take Dolphins at home.
Yeah, 100% Dolphins at home. Let's get the next game going. We have the Saints at New England to take on the Patriots. Saints, Derek Carr seems to be a little injured after that week against the Packers, but they had wheeled him out there anyway. The Saints need to keep Derek Carr healthy because he's going to take them to a division win this year. If he stays healthy, they're going to win the division. But if you want to just put him out there at 50% healthy, then you're screwing yourself over, and you're basically giving it to the I don't know who, the Falcons at this point, maybe somebody else. Who knows? Regardless, keep him healthy. Throw in Jameis. Jameis has been in the league for a long time. Just throw Jameis in there, right? And luckily, the Saints are going up against the Patriots. They just gave up 38 points to the Cowboys, sorry. They have ridiculous injuries to their secondary, although they did just pick up J.C. Jackson from the Chargers, so that's going to be a nice little bolster to their secondary. But Mac Jones in this offense is bad, and I think the defense for the Patriots is going to struggle with Olave and Kamara. So as long as they can just keep, manage that offense against the Patriots, I think they should come away with a dub. I'm taking the Saints in this game.
Yeah, I'm taking the Patriots. Foxborough, Bill Belichick, Saints, they look awful, man. They look awful. Like the Patriots looked awful. The Patriots are playing the Cowboys. Like the Saints were playing Tampa Bay, and we saw Baker Mayfield just play the Eagles. They're not that good. They're playing good defense. I don't want to take it away from them. I want to give them their props. But the Saints just looked terrible last week. I'm gonna take the home team, and you don't love any pick in this game. You're not feeling great about any of these teams right now. But Kamara came back and just didn't make much of a difference. And sometimes you see Michael Thomas make a catch, and you're just like, what happened, man? He was like the best wide receiver in the league by far. Yeah. And then you see him make a catch, and you're like, why are you like, why do I not even care that you're in this game right now? You know what I mean? Like, how did we get here in 2 years, 3 years? Yeah.
It's sad to think about that, but yeah, very, very true.
Yeah. So
Very,
I'm,
very
I'm
true.
going to take the Patriots here at home.
All right. Kyle's taking the Patriots. I'm taking the Saints. Next game, we have an AFC North matchup. The Ravens going to Pittsburgh, taking on the Steelers. Lamar in the offense last week looked really fucking good. Jackson had 2 touchdowns in the air and on the ground. And the Ravens score in the red zone at an 80% clip. I don't know who can stop them, but maybe it's TJ Watt and this Steelers defense, which has been kind of underwhelming. 13 tackles, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles in the first, these first 4 weeks for TJ Watt. He is a monster. He's going for defensive player of the year, but the game against in Houston didn't really help him out. He pretty much was about to sack CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud just took a quick little sidestep, got him out of the way. Maybe the home crowd will help out the Steelers, but I am going to go with the Ravens and Lamar Jackson and this offense that seems to be humming in the red zone to take the dub in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Kyle
it's a tough one.
Kyle seems like he's struggling right now.
Yeah, the Ravens Steelers. It seems like every year it's hard. It's never easy. Yeah, I'm gonna take the Steelers at home.
No.
I'm gonna take the Steelers at home. I didn't have the Ravens in my top 5. I know you did.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw the Steelers beat Cleveland, and Cleveland was doing way better than the Ravens. I think Cleveland blew the Ravens out when they played. So, no, because they just played last week. I keep thinking Cleveland and the Ravens have played. They haven't. Not with Deshaun Watson.
Yes, without Deshaun.
There's a lot to figure out in the North right now. I'm gonna take Mike Tomlin at home. Ugly loss last week to the Texans.
Yes.
This is kind of a week you'll see kind of a trend right now that
Mm-hmm.
I'm betting on Hall of Fame coaches to bounce back after embarrassing performances. Bill Belichick, and now Mike Tomlin, Mike McDaniel. Not embarrassing, but still lost last week.
Yeah.
The only team that won last week that I'm really riding with is like Buffalo and the Titans. A lot of these teams didn't win last week. So, yeah, I'm steel towel, terrible towel, Steel City, Mike Tomlin. It's going to be Steeler Day.
What if I told you the Steelers offense has not had a 300-plus yard game since Matt Canada has been offensive coordinator, which has been for 2 or 3 seasons now?
What if I told you the Bears haven't had a 4,000-yard passer?
I'd believe you.
No,
but what's even worse is they're going up against a very good Ravens team.
Yeah, no, the Canada stuff's real.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see what Mike Tomlin is going to do as far. Did Matt Canada coach the Bears?
He may as well have. He'd probably call a better game than fucking Matt Getsy, whatever his fucking first name is. I don't even care. Whatever.
So
his
Matt
first
Canada,
name.
his name sounds so familiar. Like, where did he come from? Was
He's
he
a
head
college coach, I believe, and he's had really bad. I don't know, man. He's had really bad offensive luck at every level. So I don't know, but
sometimes it's like, how do you have a job? Everywhere you go, you fail. That reminds me of a lot of offensive coordinators, quite frankly. Josh McDaniels, like every time he gets a job somewhere, he like blows the whole thing up. But staying on topic here, I'm still gonna go with the Steelers. It's a fair point to bring up that they haven't got anything going in the passing game. But yeah, I mean, I got it. I'm betting on Mike Tomlin, if that makes sense. I'm not betting on the Steelers.
Yeah.
I'm betting on Mike Tomlin, and Mike Tomlin finds a way to deliver. He just always does. He won't have a losing season, and right now he's 500. So,
all right. Liam saying 21-20 Steelers. Liam and Kyle agree with the Steelers pick.
He's a Steelers fan, so that doesn't make me feel.
He's kind of got to. He's like me. He's just like, I can't not pick.
Yeah,
them to
it's
win.
like rule of thumb, if you're picking your favorite team to win by 1 point, you're really not picking your team that week. Like if the Broncos are playing like the Bills and I'm like 21-20 Denver, what I really mean is 40-13 Bills.
Let's move on to the next game. We've got the Bengals limping into Arizona against the Cardinals. This might be the game the Bengals need. Might be.
Yeah, might be.
Might be.
Might
But
be. Cardinals
Joe Burrow,
are not bad defense.
honestly though, but Joe Burrow's hurt. This offense has suffered quite a bit, and Jamar Chase is frustrated. Now, Joe Burrow is a competitor. He's a winner. He wants to come. He wants to play in every game. But I think it might be time to bench him a little bit. Maybe hold him off before this starts to really get out of hand for the Bengals, because right now they're a 1-3 team. They could be 0-4 if Joe Burrow doesn't play in week 3, I believe, or week 4, or week 3. But also, you'd have a healthy Joe Burrow maybe going into this game. If he would have sat those couple weeks, however much time he needed, you'd have a probably close to 100% Joe Burrow. They're struggling. Again, Jamar Chase is frustrated. The Cardinals, I think, have the worst defense in the league. Joshua Dobbs has made them competitive. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions so far in 4 weeks. I'm still going to try to man, this one's difficult because the Cardinals are at home, and I want to believe in the Bengals so bad. I'm going to take the Bengals just because of the talent. Just the talent. It's so much better on the Bengals side. But if they lose to the Cardinals, man, this is getting into panic territory for the Bengals, I think. But I'm going to take the Bengals to win to move to 2-3.
Okay. We're already in panic territory if you're a Bengals fan. Like we've arrived. Now, the difference between this Bengals team and all the other Bengal teams is very simple. If I were a head coach of this team, it's the offense. It's the offense. Now, when you look at it on paper, it's like, well, the Bengals aren't playing complete defense either. Well, it all starts with an offense. And if you've had a good defense and a stagnant offense, you know where I'm going with this. Mm-hmm. Last year, Cincinnati had the 5th best rushing defense in the NFL. 5th. Number 5. Top 5. Giving up 103 rushing yards per game. This year, they're 31st. 31st.
Jesus.
It's the same people, man. It's the same people.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is they are tired because their offense is going in and coming out, going in, going out, going in, going out. And it's just what you really want to wear a team down, just run the football all day. Okay. So
yeah.
Now the only way to get this defense to start playing at a higher level is for the offense to play at a higher level, to stay out on the field longer, to go on long drives. And that is what I'm betting on week in and week out. This might be the last time I'm going to do it, but I am betting on the Bengals to turn it around. Too much talent. They're 2 games away from being 500. They are the best 1-3 team in the NFL. They could turn it around and not lose another game for the rest of the season, and it would not surprise me. So why not in Arizona? One last time, give me the Bengals.
Let's go. Bengals, who dey? Bengals. Let's move into the next game. We've got the Eagles, reigning NFC champs, going into LA to take on the Rams. Eagles were tested early last week against the Washington Commanders, going into overtime against a division rival. But I think they're going to dominate this game against the Rams. The Rams have some talent. The Rams do have some talent, but I don't know. They've got some talent, but the Eagles are just much more talented. Too many weapons. The defense is just dominant. They're going to give Stafford problems all day. Puka Nacua, probably one of the best rookies in the NFL, wide receiver-wise. He might score a touchdown, but that might be the only time the Rams score all day. Give me the Eagles in LA, baby. Eagles, fly.
This is going to be a really, really good game. I think the difference in this game, a lot of people really spoiled fans, bored right now with the Eagles, bored with
God,
being 4 and
I
0,
wish I could be bored.
right? When you look at the Rams, they're doing a lot of things well. Of course, the rookie from BYU, I'm not doing it, but you know who I'm talking about. He has come in and made a big impact. Now, I haven't heard anything about Cooper Kupp, but I know he was
Yeah.
out until week 5. Is
Mhm.
there any news on him
I
coming
don't
back?
believe so. I don't believe so.
Yeah, returning to practice. Okay, so Cooper Kupp is returning to practice. The Rams designated Kupp to return to practice, starting his 21-day practice window.
There we go.
So Kupp has not played in a game since week 10. The blah blah blah. Okay, so I'm not sure what the 21-day window means. I don't know if that means he won't be back for 3 weeks, but
Yeah.
regardless, right now the Rams are 4th in the NFL in yards per game, and the team they're playing is 5th. And to be even more specific, the Rams average 392 yards per game. The Eagles average 392 yards per game. Okay, exactly the same.
Mhm.
One's 392.8, the other's 392. So these teams have the exact same amount of yards through 4 games. Exact same.
Mhm.
I'm really excited to see, like, okay, well, whose defense is going to step up then? Because both these teams are right there next to each other when it comes to playing better football. So who's giving up more yards? Because I'm going to go with the defense, and I'm looking at Philly, and they're giving up 323 yards per game. The Rams are only giving up 295. This is my upset of the week. I'm taking the Rams.
That's 30 yards though. You can't.
Yeah, but they have the same amount of offensive yards, and they're in LA, so they're traveling across the entire country. They're coming off a game where they had a fight in the trenches to beat the Commanders. That type of a win can be exhausting. Now you got to fly to the other side of the country and play a team that has all the confidence in the world. Like, I don't understand why more picks aren't coming in on the Rams. As far as like the experts go, they're picking the Rams 4.5 point underdogs. So they are predicting a close game, but ultimately going with the Eagles. I wouldn't be surprised if that number drops closer to 3 by Sunday.
I think it's just because they've played the Bengals and the Colts last 2 weeks. You know what I mean? They got to win at the Colts. I get that 100%. But I mean, like, they've played the Seahawks and the 49ers their first 2 weeks.
They destroyed the Seahawks week 1.
Yeah, they did 30-13. You're right, 30-13. But look at what the Seahawks have done. You know, they look like, if you were to tell me right now, pick between the Seahawks and the Rams who's going to win, I'm going Seahawks all day. But I just think the last 2 weeks maybe inflate their defense a little bit too much, a little bit more, right?
That's the thing about stats this early.
Exactly. Well, you just said that earlier too. So, but the stats are the stats. Numbers are numbers. You can't go against that. So you're going Rams with the upset. I'm going Eagles. That's going to be a very, very interesting game. And obviously,
Matthew Stafford too, man. Like, we can't forget who he is. Like, he was a Super Bowl MVP last year. If we're just throwing that away and not using that, like, if this Rams team was coming off a Super Bowl last year, I think people would take them much more serious. But I think they're going to have to. I think they're this one win away right here from, like, people being like, okay, the Rams are officially like a top 10 team in the NFL again.
I think if they can beat the Eagles, they will definitely be in that conversation. But let's move on to the next game. Kyle's going to love this one. Jets going to Denver, taking on the Broncos. Broncos obviously coming.
Let's go! This is the Nathaniel Hackett game, baby. The worst coaching job in the history of the NFL.
This is the one. This is the one over the offseason where Sean Payton said that the Jets, coming off a very, very competitive week against the Chiefs, obviously they lost. Not only the Chiefs, they had to go up against Taylor Swift, right? Ultimately lost the game on a late game fumble from Wilson. The Chiefs sealed the win there. They only won by 3. The offense made strides, but the Jets, with Zach Wilson, man, they're just not going to win. They cannot count on Zach Wilson as a quarterback right now. Like, he has made strides in the media, saying the right things, being a team player. Skill-wise, I just don't think he's there yet. Now, on the other side, Russ and the Broncos, offense has been like complete, opposite from last season. But obviously the defense has taken a major step back. They're coming off a win against the Bears. The defense is a glaring issue, but I think that it's going to improve against this Jets team. I'm taking the Broncos at home, baby, by a score. By a score. Kyle, I got your back.
Touchdown or a field goal?
I'm going touchdown.
A full 7. This is going to be dating back. Remember when Peyton said that? Who is it? Sauce Gardner? No, it was Garrett Wilson showed up with bucket hats and sunglasses on, doing an interview on the sideline just to be like, everything you hate, we're going to do it and we're going to win anyway. This is ego on the line for both people. Whoever loses this game lost more than just this game, right? If you're well, actually, it's applicable to both teams, because if you're 1-4, your season is pretty much over. Like, let's be real, you can only lose about 7 games. If you're just starting October, you're not even to Halloween, and you already got 4. It's not looking good that you're going to make the playoffs. So, however, whoever wins is 1 game from being 500. The winner will be 2-3. So it is a huge, huge, huge turn of events for the winner. Denver's defense hasn't been great, but the Jets, they have one of the best receivers in the NFL, and he's going to be lined up against Sauce Gardner, or lined up against Surtain. But he is lined up against Sauce Gardner in practice all the time, so I'm sure he's used to being locked up. But Surtain's going to take care of business. I don't think that the Jets are going to come into Denver and beat the Broncos. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, but I wouldn't be like totally shocked if Denver, because to me, I still see a team that's putting it together. Like, Sean Payton just released Randy Gregory, and Randy Gregory was one of our highest paid defensive player. And that is Sean Payton saying, I don't care how much money you make, where you were drafted, what your status is. I'm going to watch film, and if the rookies are doing better, then I'm done. I don't care. I didn't draft any of you. No one's safe. And it's one thing a coach says that, and then once they start doing it, and this is a very Bill Parcells move, where Sean Payton came from the Bill Parcells tree, where you cut a high caliber player to put everyone else on alert. Like, oh shit, none of us are safe. We really got to go out there and play. I say it all the time. Look, going into week 5 with Peyton Manning in his first year, this team was 1-3. And that's where Denver is right now. It takes some time. I think that they get it rolling. Now we get to stack wins.
There we go. There you go. He's putting the jersey on. Surtain. Taking
the Denver Broncos.
Denver Broncos at home. I mean, what more? What would you expect, different guys? Let's be real, right?
What if I flipped it inside out and it was a Jets jersey?
I think I'd have to kill you. Because that's not the Kyle I know. That is not the Kyle I know. All right, let's move into the last game of the afternoon slate. We've got the Chiefs going into Minnesota, taking on the Vikings. I don't think Taylor Swift's going to travel to Minnesota for a game. Travis Kelce might be a little sad about it. But even with her there, he struggled to make a difference last week. And Mahomes looked a little human. He looked like a human being, throwing 2 picks against the Jets. I don't know. That might be something. The Vikings finally got their win against the Panthers last week. No longer winless. At home, 1-3. Cousins and Jefferson are the best quarterback wide receiver duo in the NFL. And I think the defense has enough to steal a win at home. I am taking the Vikings to upset the reigning Super Bowl champions at home, and they're taking the dub at home. Vikings are taking the win.
Wow. Chiefs. No, the Chiefs bounced back. That was an ugly game.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs are going to bounce back. The Vikings are at home. However, their defense is not doing as well as I
So
predicted
bad.
with
So bad.
Brian Flores taking over so bad.
Yeah.
Minnesota 20th in the NFL when it comes to yards per game, just not able to rush the ball very well. The getting rid of Dalvin Cook and bringing in Madison was supposed to be, we're just swapping out. They're 28th in rush yards per game.
Mm-hmm.
Almost the last in the NFL, only 83 rushing yards per game. So they're not running the ball well. They're putting a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins and the Chiefs. Chiefs are going to have a normal game and probably win by 10.
Yeah. God, that Vikings defense is so bad. All right.
You're
Marquee.
like, I totally just changed my mind, but I can't do it. I can't do it.
I know, I can't. I really can't. Marquee matchup for Sunday Night Football. This is a game that is just checking all the boxes. It's hyped. It's two really good teams. It's two teams in the NFC that may represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Who knows, right?
Right.
We've got the Cowboys at San Francisco taking on a 49ers team. Undefeated 49ers
Game of
team.
the week. Game of the week by
Game of-
far.
Easily game of the week.
Broncos Jets is up there.
I need you to calm the fuck down.
No, it really is. It really is.
Hey, it's better than Thursday Night Football because Thursday Night Football game is
Dog shit. I'm
Probably
really
not.
excited for it.
All right, Sunday Night Football, Cowboys at 49ers. This is a true battle, like I said, of the NFC's best. Cowboys were rocked by the Cardinals, but tempered any doubts of being a bad team with a win against the Patriots 38-3. But they face their absolute mirror image match against a top defense and against a top offense in the 49ers. I don't know if Dak and Micah Parsons have enough on this Cowboys team to beat the 49ers because CMC had just 4 touchdowns. Brock Purdy is looking like a top 10 quarterback right now in the league, and the 49ers defense is suffocating. The 49ers at home will refuse to lose. They will absolutely get this win at home against the Cowboys. Kyle, are you thinking the same thing I'm thinking? Are you thinking the 49ers are going to take this dub at home like I am?
Yeah, I got the Niners. And then this is the game for the Dallas Cowboys to be taken very serious. So,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sorry, I just dug through everything trying to get my Brock Purdy shirt and I couldn't find it.
He tried, folks. He tried.
I was like, oh, it's going to be so cool. I'm going to be back with my Brock Purdy. I'll find it by Sunday. But if Dallas can win this game, man, people are going to be like, all right, Dallas is for real. There's a little part of us that just doesn't trust Dallas like the Chargers, you know?
Yeah.
But this is a game that if they win, it's like, well, don't take them serious. You know, it's on you. But this is a really exciting game. I expect it to be close and low scoring. These are two teams that have the ability to score 40. Don't be surprised if we get a weird 18-20 game. I'm going to take the 49ers at home. I think they're the most complete team. I think they have a better offense, and I think they have a better defense.
If the Cowboys win this game, they're obviously automatically going to be taken very serious. But if they lose, now let's say they lose by like 3 points. You know, you just said weird game 2018, 2017. If they lose by that much, put up a really good fight against this very good 49ers team, are they still, would you say, top 3, top 5 in the NFC?
Yeah, definitely. Because the 49ers are the best team in the NFL right now. So if you come within a field goal of beating them, then that makes you probably the second best team in the NFL, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, that's like how the Super Bowl works. It's like, hey, whoever wins is the best in the NFL and whoever loses is second. And sometimes we see the difference is very large, like Seattle and Denver in 2013 or San Francisco and Denver. Like it happens where you're like, whoa, number 2 and number 1 are so far apart. But I think specifically with the NFC, number 1 and number 2 are going to be really close. And that's why I'm so psyched, because I think this is our NFC championship game. No disrespect to Philly. I think if they could make it to the Super Bowl, it won't shock me, but this is definitely some sort of like division conference championship round type game. And whoever wins this game is probably going to have the tiebreaker over the other. And it's going to affect seeding, home field advantage when you get to the playoffs, all of that stuff. I'm going to take San Francisco at home because if this game were in the playoffs, I may lean towards Dallas just because Kyle Shanahan's been kind of weird in important games, kind of shrinking a little bit.
Yeah, and especially in the playoffs too, you notice that. Like sometimes you're kind of like, what was that? But hopefully he gets rid of that because this year they're so dominant in the regular season so far that you're hoping in the playoffs that he kind of shakes that off. Shake it off. All right. That was Sunday Night Football. Let's move into Monday Night Football. The Packers go to Las Vegas. Bum, 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 bum. This is a Monday Night Football game. The Packers versus the Raiders.
We haven't seen this game on a Monday night since Favre lost his dad. Let's move on. Mississippi's still mad.
Wow.
This is the Brett Favre father died, came out, threw like
and
5 touchdowns.
Something like that. I remember that.
That's the last time Packers Raiders played on a Monday night.
We are old, everybody. Either way, both teams looked bad last week. They were both at home, and they looked bad. The Raiders are going to lose. The Raiders are going to lose unless they get some magic. Unless they get some magic from their rookie quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, the Raiders are going to lose. Jordan Love better make this game look good against an extremely weak Raiders team. And, maybe give Aaron Jones the ball a little bit more, LaFleur. Maybe do that. But I think Jordan Love and the Packers are going to take this dub against the Raiders. The Raiders are weak. Watch out for Max Crosby, though, Love. Watch out for Max Crosby because he's still there and he's still a dominant defensive end. So be careful with that. But I think the Packers are going to take this game. It might be close. It might not. I still have the Packers winning.
Yeah, the Packers are 21st in yards per game, giving up 352. Las Vegas is 18th, giving up 337. So right now, Vegas, matchups, whatever. The only thing Green Bay is going to Vegas for is to pick up Davante Adams and bring him back home where he's safe. But Green Bay, to me, this just feels like I'm struggling with this game a lot. And I want to just be like, oh, Green Bay, but you know how it is when you get on prime time and you're in with all those Raider fans in the painted body with the spikes and stuff. And, and so, Jimmy Garoppolo, is he going to play or is it going to be Aiden O'Connell? That's kind of my question. Let me see really quick. Jimmy G.
I think he had not completed a pass.
Limited.
Yet.
Okay, so Jimmy Garoppolo is officially limited, which I think would mean that he is on track to play, especially with it being Monday night.
Would you want him to, though? I mean...
Well, it's been over a week now. He didn't play last week.
No, I thought didn't he play last week?
No, Aiden O'Connell played. Yeah, last week. But, like I've been seeing this with the concussions where they're not playing the next week.
Yeah, the entire next week.
Which is new to us. That hasn't, in my lifetime, it's never been a full week. It's always been come back. But, yeah, I'm really struggling with this game. I don't know where to go. I'm gonna pick the Raiders at home, a big revenge game. I think Davante Adams will have a very big game, maybe even a monster game, maybe even like a 3 touchdown kind of game. So I'm gonna go with the Raiders here. I hope I'm wrong. I don't want to go Raiders, but every time I close my eyes, I see 23-20 Raiders. I don't know why.
Well, Raiders fans are gonna love you. Vegas fans are gonna love you regardless.
I don't want their love. Fuck them.
We got Steve in the chat. He's saying I smell bullshit. Steve, cheers.
That's your upper lip. I told you. Go wipe your lip.
Go wipe your lip. All right, let's talk about the game. You guys will be seeing Kyle and I stream a little bit later after this episode is done. Thursday Night Football, Bears at Commanders. Second year in a row that the Bears and Commanders play on Thursday Night Football. The Bears have lost 14 straight games dating back to last season. We're almost a full calendar year of losing, of straight losing. They were up 3 scores on the Broncos going into the fourth quarter, or at least late into the third, whatever it may be. Gave up the win to the Broncos. Maybe not really gave up. The defense just fucking stopped trying. And the Broncos came in and said, oh, okay, yeah, we'll take the win real quick. Yeah, thanks. But the Commanders have a very good defense. They have a very good defense. This team and the Commanders with Sam Howell and Jahan Dotson and Scary Terry and Curtis Samuel and Brian Robinson came back against the Eagles last week to take it into overtime. Yes, they lost, but that is still an impressive loss regardless how you see it. The Bears need the same exact performance from the offense last week to even be competitive in this game. The Bears have probably one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Looked solid for 3 quarters last week. They're just going to need the entire game to be good for the defense. The defense has to actually come out and be like, hey, let's try at least 75% of the time. And maybe you might do a really good job. The Commanders, I talked about their defense. They get a lot of pressure up front on the quarterback, but they've given up 30-plus points in 3 straight weeks. This game might come down to special teams. I'm just kidding. It's not going to come down to special teams. I don't know what it's going to come down to, but the Bears need a win, but I'm still taking the Commanders at home in Thursday Night Football. I'm still taking the Commanders.
Well, all right. Let's take a look. So last week they played the Denver Broncos, the Bears, and if you organize just based on last week who gave up the most yards, it was the Broncos. They gave up 471 yards to the Bears. 71. That's 471.
Oh yeah.
To the Bears.
Yep.
That's not very good, right? But
Nope.
it shows that the Bears offensively can exploit bad defenses. Okay. Last week, the Washington Commanders played Philly. Okay. Now, if you just go based on the season right now, Washington's ranked 21st, giving up 352 yards per game. But if you just look at last week, right, better data because they played Philly.
Yeah.
They gave up the 4th most yards last week. They gave up 415 yards to the Eagles.
Bad.
So what I'm saying is that this Commanders defense is good, but when they're playing a good, competent offense, they're not so good that they like shut down. Like Dallas is different. You know what I'm saying? I love this Washington defense, but if you can get the ball out quick and Justin Fields uses his speed, you can kind of slow down that pass rush. They can be exploited. Their safety's not that great. You can beat them over up. Like I said, Denver went up on this team 21 to 3. 21 to 3.
Yep.
This team came back and won. But I saw the first half. This defense, you can throw the ball on them. The Commanders are a solid defense, but I think that the Bears can build off of what they did last week. And I'm telling you, I think it ends tonight. I love the Commanders to make the playoffs this year. I'm going to take the Bears tonight.
Kyle's taking the Bears. He's got more hope in the Bears than I do. And Steve is kind of like me. Aren't the Bears eliminated already? Mathematically, probably, Steve, to be honest. The Bears are absolute, Kyle,
Dog
shit. They are absolute dog shit. They're probably already mathematically eliminated. I like the stats you brought up, Kyle.
Let's go Bears!
And
Bears down. Bears down.
I got to give Kyle credit, man. He kept the flag. He kept the flag. He loves me. I think he just loves me more than he hates or doesn't believe in the Bears. So violent and aggressive with the wave flag. Love it. Justin Fields needs to do exactly what he did last week. He looked like a man defeated last week after the game ended. I just don't know, man. I just don't know about this coaching staff. This coaching staff is dog shit, too. Sorry, this coaching staff is dog shit. So I don't know, and that's kind of why I'm taking the Commanders in this one. They're at home. They had an impressive comeback, almost win against the Phillies. So I think they're just going to play harder, and they know that the Bears are bad. But this could also be a trap game for the Commanders. And like you said, the Bears can expose bad defenses, which the Commanders seem to be against pretty potent offenses. So we'll see how that goes. Do you have anything else on this game before we move on?
Yeah, here's what we need tonight. We need so I'm trying to do a tutorial on how to get rich with only $5. So I have $1 things that need to happen, and here they are.
All right.
Justin Fields to have over 65 rushing yards.
Okay, might be possible.
Okay. And I put Chicago to beat the Commanders in overtime. $1 pays out 26. Just in case it goes to overtime. Yeah. Here's the same game one. Brian Robinson. All these things have to happen. Mm-hmm. Brian Robinson, anytime touchdown. Justin Fields, anytime touchdown. Mm-hmm. Justin Fields over 48.5 rushing yards. Okay. Brian Robinson over 65.5. And the Commanders win by more than 6. If that happens, then $1 pays 55. So there's Justin Fields to score 2 touchdowns with his legs. $1 pays out 30.
Okay.
And then Commanders final score: Commanders 23, Bears 20. $1 pays out 70. And then the score I thought is more likely: Commanders 24, Bears 23. $1 pays out 171. Wow. So a total of $5, but there's some possibilities tonight, so that'll make it fun.
Kyle's showing you how to make it big with $5. Hopefully it all hits, because then you're just reaping in profit at that point.
It only has to do one, and then next week you can do $2 5 bets. We're going to teach you how to do it here. It's funny, our studio just starts getting better and better. It just
gets better and better. Yeah.
Nobody knows why.
All right. Let's move on to our next segment here. It still has to do with Week 5. But we're going to talk about our favorite matchups going into Week 5. And this is obviously just not necessarily team versus team, but we're talking about maybe a little more detail. Running back versus front four, linebacker, cornerback versus wide receiver, something like that. So we're going to go into this favorite matchup of Week 5 that we're looking forward to. Kyle, I've got a couple. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to start off?
Yeah, you go first, and I'll do the next one.
Okay. So my first one, and we talked about this, game of the week, it's going to easily be the Cowboys defense versus the 49ers offense. Easily the best one. Both units are so good, someone's got to give. It might be the Cowboys defense that ends up losing this matchup. That's the one I'm looking forward to, because CMC, you got George Kittle, Brock Purdy looks like a top 10.
He's number 1 right now. QBR.
Yeah, QBR wise. Deebo Samuel. They have so many names. The Cowboys just lost Trevon Diggs to an injury. Micah Parsons is an absolute beast, but can Micah Parsons do it all on his own? I don't know. You don't know. So I'm going with this one that I'm really looking forward to, but I think the San Francisco 49ers are going to take the cake in this matchup. Kyle, What about you?
I'm actually looking at one of the games that I said don't touch it. The New Orleans Saints and the New England Patriots. And why am I looking at that game? Because NFL team opponent rushing yards per game. How many rushing yards are you giving up per game? New England 10th, 101.0. New Orleans 11th, 103.3. So the matchup I'm looking at is which rushing defense is going to step up the most in this game. And this is kind of my matchup guarantee, and that's why I love this segment, is whoever rushes the ball for more yards on Sunday, I predict wins the game. So whoever can be more successful, that's the matchup I'm looking at. Two rushing defense that are neck and neck. Who's going to, cave in and who's going to rise?
Gotcha. Like that. Don't touch it, but it's an intriguing matchup regardless. Yeah. All right. My next one is Anthony Richardson of the Colts at home after a very good comeback loss against the Rams. I want to see how well he does after the game he had in the final half of that Rams game. Again, I said it earlier, too many people are not giving this guy a fair shot in the draft. It wasn't until maybe 2 weeks before the draft and the combine that people were like, hey, watch out for Anthony Richardson. This guy's got some talent. But also people on the other side were saying he's not going to be an NFL quarterback. He might get drafted high, but he's gonna just sputter in the NFL, not, maybe, die out after a couple of years. He's not going to pan out. He's been doing really well so far in the first 4 games. He's proven them wrong. I want to see how well he could do against the who did we say he was playing? It was the Titans.
Yeah.
I want to see how well he does after the performance he gave last week in a loss. I want to see if he comes out firing. I want to see if that confidence is still there that he had. I want to see if he's rushing for touchdowns because he is an athlete. So that is what I'm looking forward to this week, week 5, Titans at Colts. I want to see how Anthony Richardson does against the Titans.
Yeah, in my next matchup, and this is a good one. It's the same matchup with Dallas and San Francisco. But what is different about it is if you look at the first quarter, Dallas is the number 1 scoring offense per quarter, okay? And San Francisco is number 9, okay? Mm-hmm. So whatever, that's neck and neck. That's going to be pretty close. Mm-hmm. But then if you look at quarter 2, right, it's also very, very close, where you have Dallas at number 5, San Francisco at number 3. Ooh. So you're like, okay, so that's, Dallas might get off to a 10-7, and then by the halftime it's tied, mm-hmm. something like that, right? Well, this is when it gets really interesting, okay? Mm-hmm. So in the third quarter, all of a sudden, Dallas normally plays a much better game, okay? So I'm excited to see who can win the third quarter when it comes to this game, because I do expect it to be a close game, mm-hmm. but by the end of the game, that's when I'm really excited to see, okay, who's going to pull away, because San Francisco has been playing a better third quarter and Dallas has been playing a better fourth quarter, but the biggest margin between them has been in the third quarter, mm-hmm. and I think that's when this game is going to be won or lost.
In the third quarter, after the half, after they've gone into the locker room, after they've talked to the coaches, talked to each other, been like, all right, man, what's wrong? What's the problem?
Yep.
What can we do better?
And those numbers for you. So for the third quarter, Dallas is actually ranked 11th, and San Francisco is ranked 22nd.
Damn.
So, I mean, the Jets are ranked right next. Jacksonville, San Francisco, Jets, Tennessee, Denver. So San Francisco has not been, a team that's been, oh, man, we are crushing the third quarter. San Francisco has been very mediocre. Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to the fourth quarter, Dallas is ranked 19th, right? Because I think they've mm-hmm. won so many of the games, they're already running the clock out, so don't read too much into it. Mm-hmm. But San Francisco is ranked 5th in the fourth quarter. Wow. They're still scoring late into the game. So I'm looking into this third quarter and I'm saying, can San Francisco win the third quarter? And then can Dallas prove that the only reason they're not scoring in the fourth is because they've been having monster leads on these teams? So the second half in general of that game, I'm looking at who can score the most points in the third quarter.
And what a treat that we get to see them on Sunday Night Football. Me and you are going to be streaming that game so hyper focused on both of these top teams in the NFC. It's like you see games like tonight, and I know you're excited for it. I know Commanders and Bears fans are excited for a Thursday Night Football
Go Bears!
game. But like Dallas Cowboys 49ers, this is a game that every NFL fan, casual or deep rooted in the NFL, wants to fucking watch. They want to watch this game all night. They wish they could have 3 of these, you know what I mean, in a row. Like how good this matchup is going to be. So I'm very excited for this game. And obviously you and I are going to be looking at this game, and we're going to go into the third quarter thinking, all right, this is the quarter that's going to win the game for one of these teams, just like you said, Kyle. And JST Killer, he's got something here that is similar to matchup, but he's saying, can we talk about how good Zach Wilson looked last week? This is Zach Wilson we're talking about, the QB no one wants. Yes, he was good. Fumble lost at the end of the game, but he looked a lot better. And like we said earlier, you know, his character, as far as talking to the media, being a team player, has improved from last year. But he's still Zach Wilson. I don't think he's that good.
Yeah, just looking at the last game, how many points did he score in the second half?
Mm-hmm.
The Jets, man, they're in the, where the fuck are they?
They bottom. That's how you know the Jets are bad.
Here they are. They're ranked 26th.
Yeah.
So and that's just, they only scored 8 points in the second half. So like everyone kind of chill out a little bit. Like I understand they're playing the Broncos, so I've already gone into subconscious defensive mode. But I really do want to like just take a second and be like, look, Zach Wilson, he still lost the game for the Jets by dropping that snap.
Mm-hmm.
He still, when it mattered the most, was not able to put the team on his back. Like, yes, he made a couple good throws. He made some good reads. But so did Drew Lock, you know, when he came into the game for Seattle.
Yeah.
Does that mean I want to ride with Drew Lock? Like, does that mean that, you know, we're supposed to all of a sudden think that Zach Wilson's going to have a great game? Like, this Denver defense has been garbage. No, they've been actually, what they have been is dog shit. And yeah, so I mean, yeah, maybe Zach Wilson has an all right game, but you know what? There's a guy named Wilson on the other side, and he has actually been playing better than like 97% of quarterbacks. And it just turns out people would much rather talk about Zach Wilson.
Exactly. And I've, as a Bears fan who has gone through this time after year, after season, after whatever, one good game, we need to temper expectations. Can he do it for 2 games? Can he do it for 3 games in a row? Can he do it for a season? That's what matters, and that's what when it comes down to, you know, at the end of the day. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
But all right, let's move into our final segment, and this is something we're going to be doing on Wednesdays. It's Thursdays. We didn't bring you an episode yesterday, but we're going to be doing it Wednesdays for our predictions. We're going to be doing conspiracies with Kyle. Kyle, we had a video set up. I couldn't upload it, but we will have that video.
Damn
because
it.
It's so spooky, and just in time for October spooky season. Kyle's going to play it right now, and you guys are going to like it.
You guys are going to love it.
Let's see if he does it. Come on. See if you can see it. Yep. Salad. Who wants to eat salad? Conspiracies with Kyle.
And this is the sound, by the way.
You guys gotta listen to this. It's good. That literally gives me the creeps, and I don't know why, but conspiracies with Kyle. Kyle, give us a little rundown of the segment, and then just go off, King. Go off, King.
I put a lot of thought into this one. So this segment is like, I'm not going to just throw out like conspiracies that are dumb. You know what I mean? Because there's like, I'm not going to talk about flat Earth or anything like that. What I am going to talk about
I would hope not.
are like real things that, you're going to be like, well, okay, that's left up to the viewer to decide what really happened. And I'm going to start this story by saying that Robert Kraft only owns the Patriots because of Michael Jackson's tour in 1982.
Ooh.
So the original owner for the Patriots, his name was Bill Sullivan. Now, he was an oil executive. He was well known as the least rich owner. He was very poor, so poor that his wife, when he bought the Patriots, thought he was buying a summer cottage, and he never told her. So he was needing to raise 25,000. He used $8,000 of his own money, and he was able to buy the Patriots. Now, there were NFL Player Association strikes that were kind of starting because the players wanted a larger cut and more revenue because really in 1982, that's when the NFL became the America's biggest sport. That's when it happened. Okay. So the players went on strike. They're like, no, we should get more money. This stuff still happens today, but the players went on strike, and the owners had to pay a big chunk of money back to the players for all the money that they didn't get paid when they were on strike. And they also had to pay the media like CBS, NBC for the money they lost by not being able to play the football games. So in January, the Pats asked for a $4 million emergency fund. Now, this is to kind of explain how poor Sullivan was, Bill Sullivan, was that the players wanted an emergency fund because they were afraid that the Pats wouldn't be able to pay them their salary. So the players are over here asking for an emergency fund, and they were trying to figure out, okay, the Sullivan guy, he's super poor, and you know how rich people do when they want you out because you're not one of them, they'll find a way to kick you out to the curb. So this is kind of the interesting that happened. This was the only concert with 6 Jackson brothers, this new Michael Jackson tour. And it was called the MJ Victory Tour. It was in 1984, and it was the height of the music world for Michael Jackson. He was the biggest face, right? Yeah. So Bill Sullivan met with Michael Jackson and was like, hey, let's sell out at Foxborough, knowing it would sell out, right? And try to make some money that way. And he became a promoter and a funder for the tour. He tried to ask the owner of San Francisco, but he backed out, saying that it wouldn't, make good enough money. So anyway, here's what happens. This is when it gets really good. So it turns out that he actually, because you have to go in front of a board to do this type of a concert, it turns out he didn't get approval from the board to do the concert. And then on top of that, Michael Jackson was sick. One of the brothers broke his leg or hurt his leg. Many people got sick. Some of the shows were canceled. The board denied the permit. Like I said, they lost millions of dollars on memorabilia. And this is when the Jacksons sued Sullivan. And they sued him because they were selling Michael Jackson's gear, and they didn't even have the right to do that. They didn't have the advertisements and stuff. So they won the lawsuit. Sullivan had to take out a loan to pay the Jacksons back. And when he didn't have the money to pay them the loans back, the collateral from the bank was Foxborough. So Robert Kraft comes in. And now Robert Kraft is a paper camaraderie. He is known very widely as a smart businessman. And he did it really smart, where he ended up taking over because the stadium was already leased for the next 8 years. So he took over. But when you go inside Robert Kraft's office, you see the Jackson posters, autographs from Michael Jackson. And basically what the people believe is that the political powers basically shut down and canceled those Jackson concerts so that Sullivan would fail and that Robert Kraft would be there to buy the team.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And if you go into his office to this day, there's Michael Jackson posters on the wall. It's all very subliminal. but
Yeah.
most people that are close to the Patriots, close enough to know all this, know that Robert Kraft was planted by politicians to take over the Patriots.
Oh my God. So, Patriots fans, you have Michael Jackson to thank
Yep,
for
7
not only
Super Bowls.
not only Robert Kraft, but Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And how many Super Bowls, Kyle?
6.
6 Super Bowl wins. So everybody needs to go and just like buy as much Michael Jackson memorabilia, CDs, anything you can. All Patriots fans need to do that. What a great segment, Kyle. What a deep dive. What a
It's
deep
yeah,
dive.
a little bit of a deep dive, and obviously, like he's poor in, you know, relevant to like the other owners. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
rich to us,
Yeah.
but compared to owners of that, and that still happens today. Like, we have like poor owners, but they're not poor. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
they're
They're poor
not the Waltons.
relatively
Yeah,
to the
relative.
other owners.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what Steve is saying in this comment, because all poor people buy cottages with their extra cash. Oh, gotta love it sometimes with Steve. All right, well, Kyle, you got anything else on this Conspiracies with Kyle segment?
That's all I got. Just I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment. It's a really fun for me, so I hope you guys enjoy it.
I love it. And we're gonna make this into its own little YouTube video. So if you guys missed out on it, go check it out on our YouTube at Star6 Media. Conspiracies with Kyle, and we'll have the video up next week on Wednesday's episode for sure. But all right,
Ooh.
let's move on to, we got a special guest here. We've got Eric from the JCA podcast. Eric,
Hi, guys.
what's up, dude? We're obviously getting ramped up for Thursday Night Football. I've got a
With
feeling.
the story that I just heard, I don't think it's ramped up. I think we're all going to get into a little rabbit hole on all this.
We're gonna go deep diving.
And next thing you know, we're listening to conspiracy theories here. I'm like,
Yeah,
Oh,
Eric
thank
loves
God.
it.
that's crazy. Kyle, what's up, man? By the
What's
way,
up, dude?
y'all got lucky last week. That's all I gotta say. Luck.
I know. We'll take it. We'll take it.
For real, right?
Absolutely, they will.
Hopefully that luck can rub on us from this week, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
Eric.
what
I
are
know.
your-
I just
what are
came
your
in here,
thoughts?
to chop up a little football pregame. We just did a pregame show here on the JCA Sports Podcast, right
Love it.
before here, talk about predictions and whatnot. So just want to say go Bears, 29-27 Bears. I got the over on this one.
29-27 Bears.
29-27.
I think we might have a repeat performance of Justin Fields from Sunday. I honestly do
Me
believe
too.
like this might be the start of his little consistency of playing well.
Mm-hmm.
For him to make a case that he is the quarterback of the future for the Chicago Bears. Granted, everything around him is not all that great,
True.
but I think that this is now the perfect opportunity for Justin Fields to worry about himself and not who's on the other side of that sideline helping
Yes.
him. And I think this is where Justin just goes out, balls out, and be the guy, and knowing like, hey, whoever you bring in, just know that I'm ready to work with the guy. Because I
Yeah.
can take you to the next level, and you don't have to go to get a quarterback in the draft. So this is going to start that line of Justin Fields starting to play consistent and showing us Bears fans that he's the guy for the future.
Yeah,
I love
and
the
I,
positivity.
I was gonna say also, this whole thing kind of reminds me of Buffalo. Like they beat Kansas, or they lost to Kansas City, but that overtime game that they made the rule because it was such a good game.
Yeah.
And then they kind of come into the season with Super Bowl expectations. They get embarrassed at home to the Bengals. And then now look at Buffalo, right? They're playing really good, no expectations. Everything's really quiet. You kind of see the same thing going on. Fields' expectations really loud. Then everything starts kind of coming back down. He has a monster game last week. I don't think anyone's talking anymore around the facility. And I think this is just when it's going to be that surprising moment where it's like, yeah, we should really stop talking about drafting Caleb Williams as long as we have a guy that can throw for 3 touchdowns and throw for 350 yards against the Commanders defense. And I think he's going to have another game like that. I really do.
I hope so, because as much as I kind of somewhat support that Caleb Williams talk, he from all analysts, what they're saying, this guy is a can't miss prospect, Mahomes type level, Trevor Lawrence type level, Brady type level. Like if the Bears do end up getting with the first round draft pick, number 1 overall, you got to take him. But I would love, and I've said this before on Big League Chicago and here on Only Football, I want Justin to succeed so bad because I love how athletic he is, how good he is. He's shown flashes of absolute greatness, and I just wish the coaching staff was so much fucking better. But I don't know. I still think the Commanders are going to win. Eric, obviously you've got that positive mindset right now, but I'm going with the Commanders winning this week. I just don't think the defense is good. I just don't think the defense is good at all.
Yeah, I'm with you on that part too as well. The defense does concern me a little bit. I mean, we can't even sniff the quarterback just to see what kind of, body lotion he's wearing or something like that. Like that's how allergic we are to the quarterbacks of the opposing teams. But at the same time, though, it's just something has to click. And I think Matt Eberflus, knowing that supposedly, he's on his last game, maybe he might coach the game of his life. Maybe not. Who knows? I still think he's here for the long run, at least until it's sort of kind of towards the end of the season anyways. But just to quiet down the noise a little bit, I think the Bears can pull off a little weird win today. And I think that's what the Bears need, a weird win
I hope so.
to at least keep us at bay for about a week and a half.
God, I hope so. And Robert here in the chat. Cheers, Robert. Thanks for joining the chat. He says, I remember being young and naive. We are the Bears. We have the worst ownership. Please sell the team. Save the fans.
And it's funny he said that too, because you guys were talking about we have poor owners. The Bears have poor owners too as well.
They're not poor. They're just cheap. The McCheapskis. Again, that's what I call them. The McCheapskis.
Yeah, cheap and poor are different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they could. Well, let's put it like this, guys. They don't own Soldier Field. They still give a good portion of their money to the city of Chicago. So, granted, no owner is poor. Like if you're an owner, you're not poor. But let's you guys are right. Not all owners are rich as hell either. I think the McCaskies are one of them.
Just relative, to the landscape, I think so too.
Yeah. So just mind you, he's right though. Worst ownership, sell the team, we'll be happy. I think that's what it's come down to. And I love the fact that the national media is talking about the Chicago Bears at this point. And I think if let's say if they do lose and Justin Fields still balls out, the narrative just becomes it's now the ownership and it's not Justin Fields playing bad. And is the reason why the Chicago Bears are not that great of a football team. So.
And that's kind of the last thing I'll say about it is like my pushback against the you have to get Caleb Williams thing is if you really believe Justin Fields has the ability to be whatever Lamar Jackson or even better than Lamar. Like I remember there was a point last year where Bear fans were like, I wouldn't trade Lamar Jackson for Justin Fields. We have a younger and who knows, maybe a higher ceiling. So like just because they have a bad year doesn't mean like that what you thought about Justin Fields isn't true. It just means he hasn't been in a system. Like, why not use your first and second pick on whatever your biggest struggle is, right? Offensive line, bring in another or maybe a dynamic weapon or something. Like, make it have to be Justin Fields' fault. Because if he goes to another team, because this happens all the time. Arizona did this. They drafted Josh Rosen. Then the next season, they drafted Kyler Murray.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyler Murray, like, kind of worked. But still, like, you can tell there's an ownership problem in Arizona, and that's why nothing really sticks. But as soon as Justin Fields gets traded to Pittsburgh or, I don't know, pick another
Atlanta
team like that, Atlanta, all of a sudden it works. And guess what? You guys have, Caleb Williams, and I'm sure, he'll pan out too. But it just kind of looks like, no, like we need to settle our problems internally. It's kind of like when you move city to city and you're like, maybe I'm the problem. I keep meeting the same friends everywhere I go.
What's that Taylor Swift song? Hey, hi, I'm the problem. It's me. Yeah, I think that might be it.
I haven't heard that one, but I'll trust you. I know you're a big Swiftie.
Oh,
let me see your bracelets. How many are you wearing?
No, you know what? I as you say, dynamic player, quarterback, whenever I shake my head and I still see problems in the defensive line because you can't even smell the deodorant that the guy is wearing. So again, there's many problems. There's many problems for the Chicago Bears, but the biggest one now that's starting to gain some traction is the ownership is looking really bad. So that's the one thing that I think we're all happy as Chicago Bears fans and on the national market side that they're starting to talk about. So All right, guys, I'm gonna go put in my pizza, get my beer ready, watch this Bears game. Are you guys gonna go live for the
Bear
game?
We're
down.
gonna go live. We're going live
Awesome, sweet. I'll be
soon
on the
as
chat with
kickoff
you guys.
starts.
We need things to happen tonight.
Yeah.
100%. I got the overs, and Rick, have you seen the text message that I showed you? Right, the one for my parlay for today's game.
Yeah, I saw that. Let's just say you and Kyle need a lot of things to happen.
Yeah.
You guys need a lot of things to happen.
It'd be funny if we
KC
had
in
the
the
same
chat,
one.
what's up, KC? Oh man,
hey,
a lot of things happen in these bets.
I mean, look, whatever God you guys believe in, just pray for us. Hopefully, everything just works too. It doesn't matter who it is. I accept everybody. I accept all blessings, no matter what religion you are.
I love it. All right,
All right, guys. I'll see you in the chat. See, have
All
a
right.
good one.
We'll be
All
live
right,
in a
man.
little bit.
Thanks
Sounds
for
good.
stopping
All right,
by,
guys.
dude.
Deuces.
See ya.
See ya.
Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you stopping by, Eric. But all right, Kyle, before we get out of here, and we're gonna start a live stream for Thursday Night Football for all you guys in the chat tuning into the stream right now. We're gonna start a live stream for Thursday Night Football. Stick around, Kyle. What do you have for the Chives? What do you got? What do you got for the Chives here?
All right. I got something.
Let's go.
It was my mom's birthday yesterday,
Happy birthday, Miss Kyle. Happy birthday, Miss Kyle.
and we went to the rock store. And this rock,
I see it. It's a nice rock.
it's a nice blue purple rock, but it said, if you've lost something, you'll get it back.
Ooh.
And I love that because it doesn't say, it says if you've lost something, almost as if it'll just come back. You won't even know you lost it, but it'll just come back. And well, the Denver Broncos have lost their winning ways. And I want to see if this rock will change our destiny. So when you see this rock on the desk,
Yeah.
just know why it's there.
I love it. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it works for my favor since we're streaming Thursday Night Football with the Bears tonight.
That's
too.
what that's what I'm thinking.
Let's have it. Please.
I also got this
football
one for
gods.
you. This one apparently has lithium in it, which is the chemical pharmaceutical companies use on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication. It's supposed to have a
Ooh.
calming effect. I know that the Bears have been very stressful, so I got this right here for you.
Let's do it.
Hopefully that'll keep you chill.
God, I hope it works. All right, those were the Chives with Kyle. We're also gonna get a little video for the Chives with Kyle. I feel like we need that.
Yeah.
Because it's always great to end with the Chives with Kyle. But all right, everybody who's in the comments, thank you to Robert, thank you to KC, thank you to Steve, Tyler, Liam, JST Killer. Stick around because we are gonna be streaming Thursday Night Football. We're gonna start off with kickoff here soon. And follow us. You've got our tweets, our tweeters, our X's up there. FTBL Only Podcast at _Star6 Media and at And Now Rick. And go follow us at Star6 Media on Facebook, YouTube, and all the other streaming or social media sites. Kyle, I will see you in just a few minutes. Go Bears.
Bear down.
See ya!
Yeah.